Hello, and thank you. Let's talk about some keys to attracting high net worth clients today. I'll introduce Private Service Alliance and explain how it will benefit the entire private service industry. Then you'll learn about screening candidates for high net worth roles, what professionalism means to high net worth clients, and elevating your agency's reputation. Private Service Alliance is the premier membership community dedicated to serving the private service industry. We launched in 2022 after acquiring the Domestic Estate Management Association, better known as DEMA. And our mission is to support the private service industry in developing professional relationships, establish industry standards, growing industry knowledge, and promoting best practices. I started my private service career nearly 30 years ago as a live-in nanny. I'm also a trained butler with a curated BA in luxury lifestyle management. I went on to work as a household manager, personal assistant, family assistant, and estate manager before launching Private Service Alliance. And a fun little fact, I was in the final casting call of 90911. I've always dreamt of easing into retirement by teaching, mentoring, or somehow paying it forward to the next generation of private service staff. However, in 2022, after the DEMA's demise, an opportunity landed in my lap, and several respected individuals encouraged me to create this new organization. My personal mission is to leave the industry better than I found it. I agreed to share this presentation with Engine Hire community because I want to work with each of your agencies to help grow your business, and in doing so, elevate the staffing process throughout the industry. This content is based on my 30 years of experience and observations of all sides of the staffing process. PSA's approach to bettering the industry is unique. We include everyone in the membership circle. Our members include private service professionals, we call them PSPs, the staff. PSP consultants offer staff level services on a freelance or contract basis. Domestic staffing agencies like yourselves, industry educators, and top businesses. PSA is guided by an advisory board of directors comprised of top industry leaders, half of whom have held leadership roles in DEMA. Each of these individuals exemplifies the best of the best, and I am humbled to have them as sounding boards, mentors, and friends. Our public-facing website offers many free resources for anyone to reference and educate their clients. The section for staff begins with a place to guide individuals seeking to enter the industry with realistic expectations and entry-level recommendations. The resource tab is where you will find our master event calendar, blog, and public-facing job board, where agency members broadcast unlimited job posts. PSA is proud to promote and host 3 industry initiatives. First is the new PSA Reference Vault. This cutting-edge resume tool lives in Engine Hire and is set to revolutionize the candidate application process. Second, PSA is the first organization to offer a group benefit program that allows candidates to select and manage their own insurance portfolio, which moves with them as their careers evolve. And third is the standardization of industry data and collecting during. And third, PSA is standardizing industry data and collecting current marketplace trends by running a global salary survey through the end of this month. There's a link in the chat box, and I would love it if you would share the link with your candidates. The salary survey ends the end of July. So let's get going. Screening candidates for high net worth roles. To cultivate a solid roster of high net worth clients, it's essential to first establish a pool of highly qualified candidates capable of successfully meeting client requirements. To do that, you must clearly understand and define a candidate's level of experience, implement an effective screening process, identify and assess any potential green and red flags that may arise, and support your candidates through the entire placement process. Come on. PSA defines the levels of service and experience into 5 distinct categories. transitional, entry-level, mid-level, management, and professional level roles. Advancing within the industry or climbing the domestic ladder requires dedication, continuing education, longevity in the field, and a high degree of professionalism. The following roles are for real positions that real clients search to fill. Take note of the level of placements you currently offer and which roles you might add to increase your agency's offerings. Transitional roles are found in tangential service industries where candidates have the highest potential of successfully transitioning into the private service sector. These workplaces serve as excellent sources of new talent, especially in competitive markets or where your candidate pool is limited. Entry-level roles are for those new to the job market or new to the industry. Mid-level roles are for candidates prepared to commit to a career within the industry. Management level roles are for experienced and trained staff seeking roles that incorporate some administrative tasks and may include oversight of some staff. And professional roles are for exceptionally experienced and educated staff requiring high degrees of leadership and management talents. So let's talk about some of those green lights. Preparing for interviews means a candidate should be prepared to present themselves as the best candidate for the job, representing both themselves and your agency. Such preparations involve a combination of research, practice, and logistical planning to ensure that they can effectively communicate their qualifications, experience, and fit for the role. Coaching sessions to ensure a candidate's preparedness should include 4 items. Start things off with common interview questions like, tell me about yourself and what are your strengths and weaknesses? When practicing behavioral questions, use the STAR method, which is situation, task, action, and result for the behavioral questions that ask about past experiences. If a role requires technical skills, they should be ready to articulate and demonstrate their expertise. And when it comes to portfolios, please discuss which items you want presented to the clients. Portfolios might include resumes, business cards, work product samples, certificates, letters of reference, and a list of reference contact information. Top agencies prepare candidates by sharing as much as possible about the position and the family, then offer mock interviews to ward off nerves and dial into specific strengths needed to land a given role. Only candidates with verifiable references should move forward to the interview phase. Don't assume that just because they have a pile of pretty letters that each reference was actually earned. There's a lot of fake red letters out there. Surveys have shown that less than 20% of private service professionals are trained to perform the jobs they apply for. Candidates who have demonstrated their commitment to bettering themselves through industry-specific training and continuing education show an openness to learning and should be moved to the top of your favorite list. For example, I was trained to iron the newspaper. Why, you asked? Affluent households have notoriously loved very expensive bedding, which requires meticulous care and slowly degrades from repeated washings. Before the digital age, principals often read the newspaper in bed while eating breakfast. In those days, newspaper ink easily transferred to any surface, including hands, clothing, dishes, and even expensive bedding. However, a butler could set the ink by pressing the pages with a hot iron. This quick task allowed the principal to read his paper in bed while his hands and everything he touched stayed ink-free. It also allowed the bedding to be laundered less frequently, extending its lifespan and saving the estate money by using less water and delaying the next linen order. This tiny but luxurious task highlights the importance and value that trained staff bring to your candidate roster. It serves the principal well and evaluates your reputation simply by representing educated clients. And you also want to listen for clues through your vetting process for candidates' understanding of NDAs and confidentiality. Candidates who overshare personal details about previous employers may not be a good fit for high net worth clients. Now let's talk about some red flags. When screening candidates, there are a few things you want to add to your red flag list. First is attire. Well, we all know that sloppy and unkempt clothing is unprofessional, but likewise, couture clothing and accessories are also a taboo. It's common for a principal to gift used items to staff or send them off for donation. However, Showing up for an interview in a pair of Louboutin pumps is the curse of death. And here's why. Female candidates could easily be seen as competition by the misses. Principals become concerned that they cannot afford to keep the candidate in the style of which she'd become accustomed to living, and clients may think that she's a thief and wonder to whom the shoes truly belong. This really happened. I know of a housekeeper who was gifted a pair of killer pumps from a former employer, then wore them to her next interview and wasn't offered the job explicitly because of the shoes. Also, did you know that women's suits in classic styles are very hard to find these days? This is because younger workers prefer casual attire and more people are working from home, leaving a fashion gap where only trendy and disposable suit options are on the rack. Which this makes choosing appropriate interview attire somewhat difficult for many candidates. Also, humans have a natural bias against poor oral hygiene. This doesn't matter if it stems from a benign source or meth use, the candidate will likely be seen as inferior to others, and clients may begin to question your awareness when presenting these candidates. Amazing matches happen when a staff's temperament either matches a principal's or complements their deficits. Candidates' emotional intelligence and ability to read the mood of others in the house, then shift their deportment accordingly is equally as valuable. Candidates often highlight their best features on paper. However, their daily default vernacular and topics of conversation can be very telling. Look for tendencies of candidates' speech patterns that are less than professional or don't match the formality of the estate. Default communication styles often shine through during coaching sessions as individuals share stories and experiences. Supporting your candidates. Candidates are loyal to agencies when they feel supported. Pre-interview coaching and post-interview conversations guide candidates and promote long-term success. It's common for candidates to ask agents for their experience or recommendations when planning their career trajectory and to reach the next rung of the domestic ladder. Agents can guide salary, benefits, and timeline expectations by sharing current market trends, and agents build respect by providing a listening ear, suggestions, and opinions when annual reviews or mansion drama come into play with post-placement support. So what does professionalism mean to high net worth clients? In my 30 years of experience and service and a European butler education, I have learned that professionalism is the first key to obtaining and retaining high net worth clients. Professional agencies ensure their understanding of the needs of the client, ensure titles and duties are well aligned, educate their clients to ensure the best possible match, and all with a full understanding of both industry and human limitations. So you've all received that call for the Great Unicorn Search. Hello, this is Mrs. Jones. I'd like to hire one woman to watch the kids, cook the meals, do all the laundry, clean the house, train and walk the dog, tend to the lawn and gardens, clean the pool, pay the bills, and manage contractors. She can live in our basement and start tomorrow. She'll need her own car, cell phone, and insurance, and my budget is $20 an hour max. So here's your first poll. Does this resonate with any of you? Comments, thoughts? Danny's monitoring the chat. What are some things that you might have done to vet your clients or candidates? And do you accept every job request or do you turn away requests for unicorns? Is there anything? Are they saying anything?
Well, the chat was blowing up with everybody saying yes. They
Okay. No, they're still typing. Okay.
I think they might still be typing about how they
Okay.
do.
All right.
Jen's on top of this. She says we would educate the client.
Yay.
We got the same. Christina says for the right salary that matches the duties, for sure they'd help out. Jenna says that they'd schedule a call to discuss further needs and services. How are these answers, Natalie?
These sound great. All right, so here's the next one. And you don't have to raise your hand on this, I promise. Mismatched ads. Have you ever seen the mismatched ads? An agency received this email. Dear Agency X, I'd like to hire a housekeeper. Best, Mrs. Smith. The agency posted with the following ad. Great housekeeper job. Family of 8 with a beautiful 10,000 square foot home. Candidate must cook all the meals, schedule the appointments, run errands, manage the contractors. Apply today. I frequently see ads where the job title does not match the requested skills. Sometimes it's a typo, but often it's a lack of understanding on one or both sides of the conversation. So, does this resonate with anyone? And if so, have you successfully coached clients to change their job title to align with the list of duties? Or have you implemented any steps to ensure a full understanding of the needs of the client?
I imagine some people are still typing, but I will
Okay.
say that this could also be one of those times where people have to re-share what the role actually is to their clients.
Right.
Once again, Jen's right there too. She says, once again, education is key.
Exactly. 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 All right. So let's talk about educating the clients, because that's the next slide. Um, Educating your clients is the fastest and best way to ensure client retention. Education cements a feeling of understanding and respect. It establishes you as a subject matter expert. It allows you to guide them with best practices, keeps their expectations, salary, and benefits in line with current market trends. It opens the door to post placement service recommendations, such as payroll services and annual review tools. And we invite you to refer your clients to PSA's Principal Employer tab on our website to reinforce these concepts, because we've got your back. So here's some industry facts. We all enter new contracts with the best of intentions, so it's incredibly important to evaluate a client's needs against the facts. For example, if one housekeeper starts every day with 2 loads of laundry while cleaning the kitchen, master bedroom, and 2 primary bathrooms, she cannot also manage the remainder of a 15,000 square foot home. Personality assessments are great tools for finding your candidate's natural bent. Did you know that introverts make fantastic housekeepers and adventurous nannies are usually extroverts? Knowing these facts about your candidates can reveal that combining these two roles often pushes staff outside their natural abilities and leads to burnout. When clients ask for unique titles, it's often because they have created their own system out of necessity, which does not translate well to traditional titles, responsibilities, and authority. And you will want to avoid placements that frequently lead to burnout, if at all possible. So, evaluating your agency's reputation, or I'm sorry, elevating your agency's reputation. To present your agency well to high net worth clients, there are things you can do to evaluate. Let me start that over. To represent your agency well to high net worth clients, there are things you can do to elevate your presence in your preferred market. The first is match your messaging and branding, target your advertising, and build your agency team. So what does that look like? Proper messaging and branding matters when representing high net worth clients. I've seen several agency websites with poorly chosen stock photos. Whether it's a glaring mistake or subtle missteps, our minds are quick to spot poor branding, and it immediately raises a red flag of untrustworthiness. These tiny details matter, whether they're back in the background, an overall aesthetic, product placement, or mismatched quality. So I know that these images are small, but can any of you tell me what might be inconsistent for high net worth branding in these images?
To me, they all look like they appear to be women or feminine in nature, and they're all relaying the message that these are the people who clean.
You're right. That was not on purpose. So I'll point out a few because I know they're really small. So the upper left one has a woman sweeping a porch, but she's in flip-flops, which staff would never do, or shouldn't do. The one to the right of it is a typical hotel hallway, which does not denote an estate. Estates don't look like hotels, even if they have long hallways with lots of doorways. And they also don't have the hotel cart cleaning carts. The bottom left one, I don't know if you can see, but she's actually looks like she's in a cocktail dress and about to pass out. And it looks like she's cleaning in a gas station bathroom. So the aesthetics matter. And the one to the right of that with the vacuum, way up in the top of that picture, you can see someone's toes, bare feet, which also would never happen. On the right, at the top right, that looks like a commercial cleaning service where you would call like Stanley Steamer or someone to come in and steam clean the furniture, which is more commercial than private staff would do. The next one down with the sink shows the bottle of spray about to hit a stain on the counter with a dry rag. First of all, the rag would be wet. Secondly, you would spray it on the rag first and then clean the counter. And the one with the grandma in the kitchen, age matters. She looks very capable, but most people aren't going to be attracted to your agency with that kind of I know it's ageism, and I'm gray haired too, but it's still it would be less than stellar on your website. And the one on the right, on the very bottom, it shows products, and product placement's really important, especially because those are budget items rather than luxury cleaning items. And those clients looking at high net worth individuals looking at your website know the difference. So they'll be looking for things like that. So based on my expertise, the more you align and elevate your messaging and branding, the more high net worth clients you will attract and retain. So, targeted advertising. My top tip is to focus your efforts on where your candidates and clients are having conversations. The only social media PSA endorses for candidates is LinkedIn. If you primarily place nannies, there are several nanny groups on Facebook. If you limit your job search postings to social media, you are missing top candidates. This is because most high net worth clients refuse to hire candidates who have active social media platforms. Expert forums like those inside the PSA community highlight you and your brand as subject matter experts. Don't waste your money on postcards or printed materials. The staff just throw them away. Instead, spend those dollars on SEO. Clients share their favorite resources in person over a glass of wine or a cup of coffee. You could create a rewards program or just simply send flowers for great referrals. Schedule time for intentional networking, like with PSA local chapters, and partner with builders, realtors, and other estate services for B2B referrals. Building your agency team is really important. In my 3 decades of experience with agencies and meeting over 1,000 PSPs, I believe that the quality of your team can make your agency amazing. Top agencies value and make time for human interactions. They coach their candidates. They value people and great matches over profit. And their staff have actually worked in private service. And these staff who've actually worked in private service make the best placements, in my mind. Problematic placement practices start with ghosting. Don't knowingly ghost your candidates. Unfortunately, they will tell others, and it can really wreak havoc on your reputation. Fully automated processes like engine hire might be the most efficient, but they also remove some of the touch points needed to maintain the human connections your candidates and clients value and crave. Find intentional ways to stay connected. Again, industry experience. My most successful placements were through agents who spent at least a few years working in the private service industry at some level. And while I realize your plates are full handling current placement details, schedule automated post-placement emails to your candidates and their principals to check in, offering a chance to chat, answer questions, or make suggestions. I can't count the number of times I was talked off the ledge of quitting a job after a 5-minute pep talk with a caring agent. So, questions? Ask me anything. Share your ideas.
Anyone can jump in with a question. Like, don't be afraid. Put it in the chat if you want, and I will read it off. But Natalie, I have a question for you first.
Yeah.
What, like, when does like a butler come into play? Like, at what point does somebody offer that like as a service? Like, does like notices something about a family that go, you know what? Actually, you're probably looking for this, which to me is like, you know, Richie Rich scenario. But I have a feeling that there's probably some more reality based place where, you know, a butler is super helpful.
Right. So some of those questions, those vetting questions are going to be about like, what is the culture of your home? Do you like it to look like the Ritz-Carlton? How do people dress in your house? Do you want the staff to be in uniforms? Do you want, so sussing out the formality of the home will really help guide that butler or no butler. A trained butler is the most formal level of service. They're not the highest level of service necessarily, but in the US, in Europe, they are the household manager. And but they can easily be the head butler, which would be the estate manager. So it really depends on the level of service the family is looking for and the formality that suits their lifestyles best. If they're a t-shirt and polo and jeans family, they probably aren't interested in butlers. If they don't, entertain frequently, they're probably not. But if they're an old money family on Wall Street, they probably would benefit with a butler in the house.
Thanks, Natalie. Maria, do you have a question? Go for it.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks. Thank you, Natalie, and thank you, Danny, for putting this together. I just have a question about when you mentioned go for SEO, don't do these one pagers, which I wish I had talked to you a month or so ago, because they are expensive. But you said SEO, which I agree with, but PSA local chapters, I think you said it in the beginning, but what is that exactly? And I'm in New York and I was just Manhattan. I was
Sure.
wondering if you had any thoughts on where that would be, where I would find
So-
that.
So we're only 2 years old. We're a new organization. DEMA grew they had 30 chapters around the world. And it is my goal to launch 6 more chapters of PSA this year. I am actively seeking people who are interested in starting a chapter in their area. I have people all the time asking me, is there a chapter here yet? Is there a chapter there yet? And as soon as you start one, there will be. So you're more than welcome and invited to book an appointment with me and we can talk it over. You do have to be a member in good standing to run a chapter. But those are definitely opportunities and they really do set you up to be an industry expert, not just an expert in your field.
Okay, that sounds great. Thanks. So I'll reach out after.
Great.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Jade asks, and Jade, you can jump in if I'm saying this wrong, but if social media isn't a good space for the hiring process, what makes using it worth the time and the investment?
Like I said, I only endorse LinkedIn. Except for nannies, I only endorse LinkedIn because I can at least give the argument to the principals who say I won't hire someone if they have a social media profile. I can at least say they need this for their job search. It's a career tool. And whereas all the rest of them, I can't justify that. And so I don't feel it is worth your time and money and effort to be on Instagram or some of the other platforms because the top candidates aren't there.
Perfect.
And the candidates who are there probably aren't the ones you're looking for.
So I guess I'm just gonna say this for Jade on this one then. Social, if you're looking for high net worth, working with those families, social media might not be worth the time and effort. But is it for
Well,
maybe other things?
so here's the conundrum too, though. But if you're looking for candidates, they're not there. But if you're looking for clients, they might be there. I mean, maybe you do want to send candidates to an influencer. Maybe you do want to send candidates to, an athlete or someone like that. But oftentimes, if they're not an influencer, oftentimes they've got someone managing their social media profile anyway. Pretty sure, Beyonce and such, they're really not monitoring their accounts very closely, and they're probably not looking at nanny ads.
Perfect. All right.
So it's
So
it's
let
it's
me-
it's a double-edged sword. It's, if you could do it for free, fine, but I wouldn't focus dollars on it.
Elite Nannies on Demand asks, what are your suggestions on how to find parentheses or have them find us, the high net worth clients, if we don't have the word of mouth referrals yet?
Like I said, start networking with the businesses who are already serving high net worth clients. So who are the realtors who are selling $1 million plus properties, or 5 million, depending on your market, maybe they're $7 million properties, who are selling the top 2% properties, 5% properties, who are the builders, who are the architects, who are the lawyers, who are the businesses serving those high net worth people, and create B2B relationships with them.
What is the best way to highlight our childcare services to high net worth clients?
Exactly what I just said.
Now,
Start networking with other businesses who are already working with high net worth clients.
Natalie, I know privately, we've talked about this before, and I
Yeah.
think it's relevant for everyone.
Sure.
That you had mentioned, another friend of ours website, and you were like, hey, you have a picture on there that doesn't reflect, and you kind of did that thing here
Right.
with all those pictures, reflecting maybe not actually your clientele. Do you have any like suggestions really on like what might be some of those good images? Like what would make it? I guess like again, I think Richie Rich. I think the mom and Gilmore Girls. Like that's what I think of rich people. Should all of
Mom and
the
Gilmore Girls with the mom. Sorry, I was thinking the Gilmore Girls, and I'm like, she
not
was a single
Lorelai
mom.
and
You're talking grandma. Okay, got it.
exactly. Grandma
Yes.
and grandpa. And should like all the photos on the website be like, those types of houses?
They can be, but they could also be, think about, what do museums look like? It could be a very clean, stark, but just like you could zero in on a chandelier, you can zero in on a staircase, you could housekeepers, just literally having hands on a pile of fluffy towels. It doesn't have to be an actual setting. But if you're networking with realtors who have high net worth properties and they're doing photo shoots for because they're getting ready to list this property, you can sometimes go in and say, hey, if I hire some actors or bring in some friends to pose for some photos, can I pay your photographer to take some pictures, pictures of people working, and things like that. Those could be beneficial. If you're paying half the realtor fee for them, you could buddy up and do that. If, of course, you'd also need permission from the owner, but some of those opportunities exist as well. Just creating your own stock photos.
Back to, can you share some practical ways you might partner with those businesses? Are you just asking them to refer you?
Rules of networking start with, hello, I'm so and so, and this is what I do, and what do you do, and how can I help you build your business? And by you asking that, 99% of the time, they turn around and ask you the same question. And, simply literally just getting to know people as human beings, finding out what are your pain points? Here are mine. Who are your clients? Who do you serve? Great. That, I'm looking to build my client base in that area as well. You know, can we work together to refer each other? You know, and create a favorite partner list or join Private Service Alliance and help build a national list of preferred people that refer within Private Service Alliance.
Great. Thanks, Natalie. I will share one on this. I really hate being the person that like piggybacks off of like the host, but I will say, because I feel like it's super relevant to you. And again, I hate this, so I'm really sorry, everybody. But in this partnership thing, it's great to do like a gathering where they all meet each other. I've seen like amazing success there. I've been lucky enough to be like invited to some of those, and like everybody's like loves meeting each other because like you're just broadening everybody's target market.
Exactly.
So sorry about that. I have another question for you, Natalie. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
When it comes to like I keep bringing up like things like butlers, but really because like it's very elusive to me. I don't know any. And if I was recruiting a butler,
Well, you do know one.
I do know one. Where would I go to like recruit butlers?
To recruit butlers. You could, well, I was recruited while I was still in Butler school. So contacting the Butler schools and asking if they have a, who do you have available? I'm looking, partner with them, because usually the Butler schools do placement as well.
Do you have a good Butler school that I should reach out to when the time comes?
My alma mater is the International Butler Academy in the Netherlands.
Oh, Shauna gave me one too. Danny, high-end hotel concierges also make great butlers. Thanks, Shauna.
Yes, they do. That's one of those transitional roles out of a tangential service.
Anybody else have any other questions for Natalie? You don't have to type them in. You can just jump in if you'd like. I know sometimes, typing, right?
Well, I'll close this out, but we'll keep talking after you stop recording. Thank you all for your time. Once again, my name is Natalie Hudson. You can find me at privateservicealliance.com. I would love to meet with each of you to discuss how a PSA membership can help your agency and your candidates.
Thanks, Natalie. And everyone too, Natalie is in the community, in the engine hire community often. So if you use that, she's really great and easy to reach out to there. I feel like she's got it, like she responds to everything. Really responds. So thanks, Natalie. Really appreciate it. Yeah, but everybody, thanks again for joining us. I'll post this on our site soon. It goes under the blogs, under webinars. But reach out if you have any other questions. I'll make sure they get to Natalie. And like I said, use the community there. That's awesome. And reach out directly to Natalie. So again, everybody, thank you so much.
Thanks again.